Hello and welcome to Diverse and Inclusive Leaders, the podcast show where I interview the most inspirational and thought-provoking leaders of today and unearth their unique stories of diversity and inclusion to help inspire, educate and motivate others to make the world a better place. Today, I am so thrilled to be speaking with the incredible Frauke Behrens. Now, Frauke is actually my former yoga teacher. I spent a week out with her in Fuerteventura with a number of other students learning from Frauke's teachings around lots of different aspects of yoga. Now, Frauke, how would I describe her? Super Frauke is how many of Frauke's students describe her. She is a fun-loving, red-headed yoga and meditation instructor. She lives and breathes and sleeps everything that she does on Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. She's had a huge amount of experience practicing and teaching Kundalini yoga and meditation for many, many years. She's qualified in the style of Yogi Bhajan and certified by the Kundalini Research Institute through AEKY, the Spanish Association of Kundalini Yoga. She's qualified in Yin Yang Yoga, and that means she's done 200 hours of Yoga Alliance. And in 2018, she also completed 50 hours worth of mindfulness and yin yoga training with Josh Summer in Ireland. She teaches a range of yoga, meditation and yoga nidra classes now at retreats and local venues in Fuerteventura. So Frauke, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello. That sounds amazing. I have to start laughing and say, who's this person talking about me? Oh my God, yeah.
You are amazing, Frauke. You are amazing. And honestly, I could say that until the cows come home, because honestly, just speaking to you today, because for all of our listeners who are tuning in today, I've not seen or spoken to Frauke in probably about a year and a half. And you know what? I've missed her dearly. And so I've been so looking forward to having her on the show and having her spread her wonderful positivity and mindfulness throughout all of the radio waves and the channels via Apple, Stitcher, all the different podcast shows and YouTube and what have you. So Frauke, tell all of our listeners just a little bit about you and what you've been up to recently, some of your projects, because I know that you're always up to something new and fabulous.
Yeah, you know, Leila, I'm never ending. I'm never stopping. This is like life is rolling. And I think life is it's a beautiful way to learn because for me, it's something magic. And even when we age, and I'm not saying that I'm old now, but when we age, we never end learning. So we never stop to learn. For me, this is the most important part. And I like to move. Really. I'm not a routinary person, so there is always something challenging in life going on. So family or job or everything. And as you say, I left my job behind. I had a good job. I was working in spa management and 5-star hotels, really high level. And then I ended up in where I never wanted to be, in the management of a 5-star hotel. So more the human part. I'm not a number part. So, and I'm very, very, very honored to be part of something incredible that you're building up right now. So, and yes, I changed again. You see, I left the place where I was working and just to do something for myself. I think it's the first time in my life that I do something for myself. I always have done for others, and I still do for others. But I think now what I can do for others and it works well, I should do something for myself. It sounds maybe a bit selfish, but it's not. Believe me, because it's a huge adventure right now to start again as a self-employed, as an autonomous person, and really dealing with different kind of papers. And it's a very exciting time right now. For me, it's amazing. It's a very exciting time because it depends what I'm doing. I have my income now. So, and it's moving very well. So I moved to international retreats. I think you have seen it on my website now.
Yes.
I really open my arms and spread my fingers out. And yeah, I go to Brazil and I have both groups sold now. I go for 2 weeks. And then I go to Santorini again, and I go to Austria. And next year I start Uruguay, and I think I'm going to end up in Ecuador. So, and you know, something, the really beautiful side of all this is that I always wanted to travel. I never had time with family and job wise. So now I combine this. This is my passion. That's the yoga and the travel that I haven't done yet. So I think now it's time. And combining both parts together, it makes me really feel, at the beginning I was like a bit, very exciting. And then I realized as well that I have to sit many hours on my computer, and that kicks me a bit off. But then I start now to be working regularly on my computer. I have my hours when I work, nobody's disturbing me, to promote myself and to promote my retreats. Because all what I want is to share this passion that I feel, and something that helped me. And I think it's a great thing when people realize that in this crazy world, we have the ability to work with ourselves, to calm down, and to see this from a different point of view. So this is a little bit the resume from what I'm doing right now. I hope it was not too long, my dear.
Oh, not at all, not at all, Frauke. And I'm so pleased that you have the opportunity to finally think about yourself, because when I met you, and certainly everyone else that met you at the time, you know, it was obvious how much of your passion and sincerity and energy that you really put into every ounce of your teachings and what you did. And I can see how much you love to do that, which is beautiful to see. But I do think, you know, it is so important to take time for yourself, because that is what you teach ultimately, because everyone who was at the retreat, you know, is about taking some time for themselves and not to feel guilty, not to feel like they're being selfish. Because if we don't look after ourselves, then it's very difficult to ultimately look after other people as well. And I guess what I would really love to know, Frauke, if you don't mind me asking, is I would love to kind of rewind the clock back, you know, maybe 10 or 20 years, and have you kind of think about the young Frauke starting out, because I'm really intrigued to know, because you're so spiritual, yet you're really very driven and business minded and orientated in what you do quite naturally. Was the young Frauke like this? Was the young Frauke someone who started out with these dreams and ambitions to make her own business and to be successful within yoga and meditation? Or was that something that happened more organically? Tell me a little bit about your younger self.
Look, my dear, I was absolutely not a spiritual person. I was really like those young horses that I left home, very, very powerful girl. So I'm a sport teacher and a therapist. So that was my growing home, and that was my studies. That was what I had home. I think my parents really, yes, they were absolutely great. And they showed me that the most important part in life is to be independent. And when you're young, you don't see this really. And now I'm so grateful. Now I see everything. And this is when I really feel, wow, thank you. Now I can say thank you. They are both no longer here, but they are in my heart. And we have a very spiritual connection now. But look, I left Germany, where I was born, when I was 19. When I just finished early 20s, and then wow. I only wanted to stay for 6 months, and then I was married after 6 months. So you see, and then I stay here now for 43 years. But ambitions, I really never had this ambition. I'm a very, how can I say, a person that like the things correct, and I can't go home until the job is done. And I always stay longer and longer and longer and longer. And I started to learn from the beginning all what it's about the hotels. So that was my last 35 years. So I started really like peeling the onions in kitchen, and then I worked all through those different departments. But my whole life was hotels, and then sport was my hobby. And then, yes, you say, you have family, and then I didn't talk the language when I came to Spain, so I had to learn as well. I think this is my basement. I had to learn all from the very beginning. And that showed me that I have to be a bit more respectful and a bit more patient with myself. I always want to do things very quick. So, and then really, I'm a powerful person, running the whole day, always moving, not taking time for myself. And when my kids were grown, I think, all right, now I can move a little bit. So I went to the south of Spain to work in a 5-star hotel as well, building up, always building up. You know, this is what I do my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I always build up things for others. So yes, we start with this hotel, and then I'm with the plans from the hotel, with the architect from the hotel. And when it's running, then I change to the next one. So I never had the need to find a job because they were always offering me jobs. And I was very working like 14 hours per day. So, and then the moment to change, or the moment of change of my life, was really when I became ill. That was the moment that it changed everything. So it's terrible to say this. Sometimes we have to wait until we become ill. So then life, I always say this, when life really reminds you, hey, you're here, listen to your physical body. So I became very ill. I don't want to go into this with details, but it was tough. It was very tough. And then from there, up from this moment, I couldn't go back to my job. I couldn't go back to the hotel. I didn't want to read the same books. I changed completely. So it's like something happened to me. It sounds maybe a bit crazy, but something happened to me that I was not sure what I want to do with my life, because I could have died easily. So the life was given back to me as a precious gift, and that was exactly the moment when I took this as a precious gift. And I changed completely. And this is, I think, now 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. This is the time that I'm teaching, Leila. And this is really when I see, wow, look, what have I done? I have done always for others and running, but now I want to serve. And this is completely different. If you work for somebody or you want to serve, first yourself, and then you want to serve others. So I have the sensation that since this moment, I'm on service to help others, to not getting ill, to not realizing through an illness or by an illness that life is something that we should really, we should become aware that life could be done in a click like this. So that it changed me completely. So from then it was maybe a bit difficult for my family to realize this. So I was divorced then, and then I started a completely new life from the beginning, from the real beginning. And then I start with yoga, and I start this in South America, just trying to recover from this illness. And then I had this amazing luck that I met a friend of mine. She picked me up at the airport. I didn't know where Uruguay was. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I met her on a bike trip in Morocco. So you can imagine how my life is. So I meet people, and then they invite me, and then I came, and when I was sitting in her car and she put a mantra on, I will never forget this. It was a mantra from Snatam Kaur. She's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Kundalini singer. She has a voice like an angel. And I just started to cry. So I had goosebumps. And then she said, all right, let's start. If you want, I want to join the Kundalini course. So that was my beginning with yoga. I was not a spiritual person before. I was always they always called me my red hair power girl. You know what I mean? So I'm still full of power, but in a different way, because now I take care of myself. And my whole aim is, try to be on service. It sounds strange, no, when I say this, but try to be in service for helping others. And that is what I'm doing. When I wake up in the morning and I go to bed, I say thank you for giving me this present to be alive. And I think, all right, then I pass my day and I think, wow, I have done good. And I took care of myself. So this is for me the most important part. And when you teach, Leila, when you teach and you see the people, how they come after the class, and they just say, wow, I never have done yoga, and Kundalini, it's not easy. When you teach first time Kundalini or you receive a class, it's not easy because a bit different than the rest of all the yogas. And then they ask you details. And this is the moment when I feel, wow, good. And this is when I feel happy. And that makes me happy. And I think this happiness is something that you share when you teach. Happiness, positivity, optimism. This is all what I feel. And this feeling never went away from me. Never.
That's such a beautiful story, Frau. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I never knew, actually, that it was that time when you were ill that made you almost redirect your entire life towards the teachings of yoga. And the way that you describe it, it's almost like this, it's like this reawakening and what I would call servant type leadership, because you honestly are a real natural leader. And the way you talk about doing good for others, waking up in the morning through to when you go to bed at night, that's really kind of serving others. It's like this, how can I serve you kind of mentality. And I wonder whether you might be able to share a little bit with some of our listeners today, whom all are very interested in diversity and inclusion and leadership of all different types. And, you know, I guess I see you as somewhat of a spiritual leader, as well as someone who really is kind of a guiding shining star when it comes to living and embracing your full self in life. Perhaps you could share with everyone a little bit more about the teachings of Kundalini, yoga, and meditation. I know it's very complex, but perhaps you could explain in a small nutshell, because I would love for people to write in afterwards or to be inspired by this podcast and think, hey, do you know what? I need to take some time for myself. I'd like to try something new. Perhaps yoga would be for me because I'm a busy, stressed out executive. And actually this Kundalini yoga sounds like some fun.
It is amazing. It is amazing because it's a yoga for everybody. So it's not about, you know, sometimes people say, all right, no, I need Ashtanga yoga because I need to move more. I need this. All types of yoga are amazing. But for me, that I have tried them all now, for me, this is a yoga for everybody. So you don't need to have any knowledge before you come to a session. And this is for me the most important part. And all what you do is for you, and this is yoga, this connection with yourself. So, and the happiness that we create, and then when you see the people when they come the first time to your class, when you sit there, you know, white dressed and with my turban or my half turban on top of my head, you know, it looks a bit crazy. People look at you, oh my God, if you don't have a group that follows you, no? If it's always new for people, they never have done this, then they are very like, oh my God, what's going on? And then you say, all right, we chant mantra to the beginning. And then you see, normally they are the men. They just look down to the earth and say, ooh, I want to get out here. So then I chant by my own because nobody will follow me. The second class, everybody follows. But the first time, the people are shy. People are saying, oh my God, what are the people are thinking? I'm sitting here and chanting a mantra. You know, I'm not really into it. So it's fine. I just leave them. And then you see with the first movements, and as you speak to them, and they say, look, just use your breath, close your eyes and focus there. So I explain a little bit why we do each movement and each hand pose. And there is a huge reason, because it's a science. It's a sacred science. And this is the beauty of this. And it's all written. So I'm only the one teaching the session because it's all written. It's not mine. I'm just there to share and to teach, nothing else. But you see, when they move with the rhythm of the mantras and they use their breath that we normally never use, we breathe like 24/7 our whole life, and we are not aware that we are breathing. So this is a moment to become conscious of your breath, of your body, and you will see how your mind will start to chatter or to wander away. It depends. Each of us are different. And then when we finish this introduction, we finish this pranayama, controlled breath or conscious breath, and then the whole action, what is the class, the different postures together. And then when we end, we make this meditation. After having the relaxation, we make this meditation. and then we chant out. So there is always a song for chanting out. This is the Long Time Sunshine song. And this is when you see that the people don't want to open their eyes. The people don't want to get up from their mat. And this is when you see some tear rolling, and then you see, wow, that was it. And this is like 80% of the people that you have the first time in the class. And this is why I like it, because it works. It's this science that works. And it works on all the levels, not only on the physical level, mental level, energetical level. This works on emotions. And this is when sometimes you just open like a little door inside, and then I say, wow, I'm crying. So you see some tears rolling. I'm crying when I chant this song at the end. Sometimes I'm so emotionally that, it comes out. And when they see you, say, look, it's not only you, it's me. And this is like a releasing, a complete releasing. And this 1.5 hour is when you start really to become aware. And I think this is mindfulness, because if not, we are mindlessness. You can do a session and just repeating a different asanas. That's fine. It's mental as well. I don't say that's better or worse. I never say this. But Kundalini yoga, it's action. It's action, and everything is present in this. So when you never have done, or if you never have done a Kundalini session, just try it. Try it, and you will feel something. I can't explain. You should experience. This is what we always say.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And it's funny, someone said something to me the other day, and it really, really resonated. They said, people don't remember what it is that you said or what you were doing or where you were when you said it, but they remember how you made them feel. And I think what you've just described there really epitomizes that real humanistic feeling, emotional, mental mindfulness and presence that, frankly, in our day-to-day lives, when we're rushing around from A to Z, we just don't feel enough. And firsthand, to all of our listeners and to those who are very kindly tuning in today to today's podcast, you really should try Kundalini. If you can go across to see Frauke, definitely get yourself there. She's amazing. But firsthand, this is incredible. I've been out for 2 weeks now of yoga, 1 week spent entirely with Frauke, and I can tell you it was the most cleansing and emotional experience I've ever had. And absolutely. And it sounds peculiar when you say it out loud, oh, people are crying and there's tears rolling down their face. But it's a really special moment, because those are tears of happiness and tears of joy. And it's almost like you quite rightly say, Frauke, it's a release. It's almost like this pent up energy, and all those hard, difficult, negative emotions are suddenly just coming out in one swooping, kind of gushing emotional piece, and suddenly everything is silent. It's just amazing.
For many people, Leila, it's very difficult to be with themselves, because we don't give up the possibility. And I was like this, and this is why I like to share this. You don't know how to be with yourself, to sit quiet and to observe what happens inside. And this is when you mentioned this so lovely right now. And with this, I just want to finish this. To be quiet, to listen to yourself, and to pay attention to the present moment. It's so difficult for many of us. We are just living and rushing and running around. And as you mentioned before, you're not aware that the time is running, and the time is running out. And this is what happens. So to sit with yourself and to be quiet for a few moments after a session, this is when you really feel that's yoga. That's yoga.
Absolutely. So beautifully put. And just quickly, because there's another few questions that I really wanted to ask. I really love the piece that you talked us all through around chakras. And I wonder whether you could just kind of explain a little bit to our listeners why the different chakras are so important and what that means, because I would love for those that are listening today, or those that haven't heard of yoga and some of these pieces of spirituality, perhaps they don't believe about it, and that's fine. I'd love to encourage people to try and experience something new, or to go away and find out about what the different chakras and the different stones mean.
Great. Chakras are nothing else than, I like to call them PowerPoints. It's easier if you talk on a, on a computer level. They are PowerPoints, all right, or energy centers. And we are so much more than only our physical body, because our physical body is what we see, what we feel, but underneath these energies, if our physical body is okay, but we still don't feel well, so those chakras are in balance or out balance. So what you do in each session, you stimulate them, and we never can always stimulate. We stimulate them, and then you will feel how this energy is flowing, because each chakra, we have 7 main ones, and we start from the root. This is really your basement, the base. This is between the anus and the genitals. This is the root chakra, so it's called Muladhara. I don't want to go so deep because I think we have only a little time, but this is your basics, and it makes sense when you see them, and they have all a color, and this color is like a rainbow, so it's all connected. I found it at the beginning very difficult to say, oh my God, the chakras and all this, and when you see this is nature. There's the same colors that we have on the rainbow. So we start with the red color as your basement. And then you go to the second one that we call the sexual chakra. Yeah. So, and this is related to all the organs in this area. So between the navel and the pubic bone. And then you go higher. And then we have our willpower, where our willpower is seated. This is a yellow color. So this is around or a bit on top of the navel. And then we go, those are the lower chakras. So we call this the lower triangle. And then we have the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is the connection. And this is green or rose color. And then from there, from here, you go to the upper chakra. So the connection always is, we have the 3 lower, we have the heart in the center, and then we have the 3 upper chakras. This is the throat chakra, and then this is communication. The color is blue. And then we have the third eye, what we call ajna. So this third eye is between your eyebrows, a bit higher, like a triangle as well. And then you have the crown chakra. So this is on top, like 10 centimeters on top of your head. And the 3 higher chakras or upper chakras are the connection to, how can I say this, to the cosmos, to our higher consciousness. So we have the basics, they are more human, then we have the connection through our heart to the higher level. And this is really the communication with the higher self. And this is what are the chakras. And they are very powerful, very powerful. And when you do a meditation or you do a whole session only focusing on the chakra, you can feel it. You can feel it. Because you visualize, and then you can feel this energy moving.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for explaining that, Frauke. That's fantastic. And I hope that everyone has learned something new today. And just finally, and I'll call this a little lightning round, and I'll try and give you perhaps 30 seconds to answer each of these last 3 questions that I have for you, if that's okay, before I go into summarizing some of the key learning points from today's session. But firstly, why is mindfulness so important in today's modern world, do you think?
All right. If we are not mindful, we are mindless. And then it's what we are not aware what happens inside and what happens outside, because we live without paying attention. And at the moment that you pay attention, you're mindful. And this is important, because if not, we live like disconnected, mindless.
Perfect. And what is success to you, Frauke?
Oh my God, that is a good question. Oh, wow. I really should think about this, but I'm very, I'm very impulsive. And then success. For me, success is creating happiness.
That's such a lovely answer. Such a lovely answer. And finally, is there any advice that you would have given to your younger self, or to anyone out there who's listening at the moment and feeling perhaps a little bit lost and is looking for some guidance in their life, whether that be in business or whether that be in their personal life?
Yeah, I would say, just never forget that happiness is your birthright. Sometimes we forget this. And I think happiness is little moments, but that makes really this essence of life. Because if I'm not happy, I can't laugh. If there is no laugh, there is no life. There is no passion. There is no compassion. And just that they remind, we are here to have a happy, healthy, and a little holy life as well. Holy with yourself and with others. I'm not talking never about religion or churches or whatever, but this is happy, healthy, and holy, and being happy. For me, this is the most important part. Being happy and make other people feeling happy. And there is a way out through all the problems. And this is important as well.
Frauke, you've been absolutely fantastic today. And just quickly, because there's been so many beautiful pearls of wisdom from today's short chat, I'm going to summarize quickly for our listeners some of the things that I've learned, and I'm sure some of the things that they have learned too. First of all, Frauke, you are an inspiration. I think, everything that you have done has been with sincerity and with passion. And I think what you've really demonstrated through your storytelling today is that it's never too late to try something new. It's always fantastic to try and give your whole self and to be adventurous, because you really expressed this piece around lifelong learning. And I completely agree with you. No one ever stops learning. It doesn't matter how old you are or how much you've achieved. You never stop learning. I also really like the piece around servant leadership, as I like to call it. That piece where you really do try your best to serve others and to be happy and to be healthy. It's also okay to think about yourself. And I think, as you described, Frauke, you've been through many different ups and downs within your life. And actually, it's really, really important to take time for yourself, because if you're not looking after yourself, then certainly you aren't able to look after other people. I've also learned some wonderful pieces about mindfulness and being able to breathe, and the fact that actually we're all breathing 24/7, and actually we're not really very aware of that. So being really truly aware of our consciousness and being able to control our conscious breath and our whole course of action and our postures and our ability to be concerted in our actions is very, very important. And finally, I hope everyone goes away to research the chakras. I think they are really wonderful and a great place for you to start if you haven't already tried yoga or any types of meditation. But I guess finally, it's just me to say, I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. I love the fact that you bring happiness and joy to everything that you do. And I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you today, Frauke. And I really hope to see you again soon at one of your retreats in Fuerteventura, or in fact, could be Uruguay or somewhere else, Brazil, anywhere.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me for this. I feel very, very honored, because I'm very sincere, and I think we never should lose this kind of humbleness, if this is the word that is correct. I'm not sure. Sometimes my English is terrible, but being humble to the end. I think this is very important. And you are amazing, Leila. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best for your next step. I don't like the word chapter and all this. So yeah, life is walking forward. So you're walking forward, and never stop. You're on an amazing road. I don't like the word path. I like the word road, because I'm very normal. I'm very human as well. You know what I mean? So I'm not a holy person.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frauke.
Yes.
So just to finish off then, if any of our listeners would like to get in touch with Frauke directly, you can find her on Instagram or on Facebook. You can also visit Frauke on her website at www.frauke, which is spelled Frauke, yogafuerteventura.com. You can also have a look in the show notes at the end of today's session. I'll put all of those onto the website, where you can look up Frauke's details, or you can reach out to me and I will get in touch with Frauke for you. Please do visit me at www.leilamackenzie.com/podcasts. You can listen to our podcast free of charge on Apple or Spotify or your favorite podcast app. You can always also stream via our Dial Global YouTube channel, where you'll be able to listen to all the podcast sessions that we've done to date. So thank you very much, Frauke. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Leila Mackenzie, and you've been listening to Diverse and Inclusive Leaders, the podcast, with you every week. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.